Hello again. Today I'm going to be sharing 5 things I love about the Fujifilm X100V. First one is the focal length. That little 23mm f2 35mm equivalent is just lovely for everyday use, documenting your life, taking pictures of your friends, portraits, environmental portraits, street photography, a little bit of landscapes if you wanted to. It just really fits my needs, and I really enjoy shooting with that focal length. Even on my R5 and R6, I really enjoy the 35mm focal length. Obviously that is dependent on the person. Some people like a longer focal length or a wider one, but for me 35mm really just hits the sweet spot. Next is a small feature, but a really valuable one in my opinion. It's the ND filter. This is something that should just be included in so many more cameras. Obviously it's a lot easier for it to be included in this one because it's a fixed lens camera, so they've got a little bit more leeway on what they can do inside the lens and in the sensor housing, but it's such a valuable little feature. I didn't realize how much I would actually be using it day to day. Just if you want to stretch your shutter speed a little bit more, or if it's really bright outside and you don't want to be shooting at ridiculously high shutter speed, it can help you bring that down. Even in the video mode, it's a great help. Yeah, I just didn't even realize how much I would use it, and it's saved me on quite a few occasions. Next is a very general thing. It's just the form factor of the camera in general. It's nice and small, it has a fixed lens, so when you pick it up you know what you're going to get, especially in comparison to something like an R5 or an R6, which is what I use outside of this. You can't carry those cameras around day by day. They're just too big, the lenses are enormous, and to just be able to put this tiny little camera in your bag, or if you've got big pockets you could probably fit it in there and be able to take it everywhere. It really opens things up and just kind of unleashes another level of creativity for a lot of people, and myself included. I've never really been one for using smaller cameras, so I was a little bit skeptical when I bought this camera, but yeah, I've loved it. I take it everywhere. I can't do that with my other cameras, and because I can take it everywhere, I take a lot more photos, and that's a net positive as far as I'm concerned. Following on from that, it's a great everyday camera because of the form factor, because of the focal length, because of everything else. It's just a great camera to use every single day, to document your life, to take pictures of just mundane things. It's just a great fountain of creativity, this little camera. It just really makes you want to shoot, which is what you need. As far as I'm concerned, cameras like my R5 or R6, they're just kind of tools to help me get the job done. But the X100V really opens up my creativity. I don't know if it's maybe because it kind of limits you in a little way. You've got slower autofocus, you've only got one focal length to play with. It kind of makes you slow down a little bit. Maybe that's part of it, but it just really makes you want to create, which is just, again, a net positive as far as I'm concerned. Last but not least, and of course this goes for this camera as well as many other cameras in Fuji's lineup, is the film simulations. Because you can use these film simulations, you don't have to edit the images, and when the Wi-Fi works, you can just Wi-Fi it straight onto your phone and share with your friends or post on social media. It really takes away the friction of creating, and for me that is just like such a huge thing. Say for example, when you go on holiday and you want to take your camera with you, if you took a larger DSLR or mirrorless, you'd have to go out, take the pictures, and then come home, get them onto your computer, and then select them all and then edit them all, and it's just such a laborious process, especially for images that you are taking for yourself. So for me, that is the main positive about this camera. Just makes you feel more creative because you've got so few technical limitations. You can just take the pictures, enjoy the moment, be there, you know, not be hiding behind a huge lens or whatever. It really just injects a lot more enjoyment into the creative process, and for me that is the biggest thing about this camera, the biggest positive. Not only the film sims, but all of the things on this list come together to create something that really just empowers you to be creative, which can't be said about a lot of cameras or many other pieces of tech. For that and for all of the other reasons on this list, I recommend this camera to everybody. Like, since I've bought it, I've recommended it to so many friends, and they probably hate me for making them spend so much money, but also like you hear so many positive things about people who were not so creative anymore. They kind of lost the juice, and then they started using this camera, and now it's like revitalized their creative passion, which is just great to see. And that's the main thing that we want, isn't it? We want more people to be creative, and yeah, and I feel like this camera in particular is quite instrumental to that. So there you have my 5 things that I love about the Fujifilm X100V. If you want to see 5 things I don't like about this camera, click here, and don't forget to subscribe over there. Thanks.